I met this guy named Derek one summer night when I was out drinking with a bunch of friends at the Hollow Lantern, a local dive bar just outside Ashburn Ridge. We hit it off talking about the game playing on the overhead TV, just two strangers bonding over noise and beer. As the night dragged on, my friends drifted further into the crowd, and soon it was just Derek and me laughing over random things. He had that easygoing vibe, dressed like any regular 20-something. When we exchanged Instagram handles, I noticed he had a pretty impressive following. His feed showed beaches, friends, adventures, nothing that screamed red flag. After we followed each other, I found my group again. I figured I'd never hear from Derek after that. Those kinds of bar friendships usually dissolve by morning. But the next evening, I was at Marrow Point, this lakeside bar restaurant, for my buddy Jaden's birthday. I posted a quick story of us singing for him, the golden hour glowing on the water behind us. Just as we were wrapping up dinner and lingering around the patio, I felt a tap on my shoulder. I turned, and there he was, Derek. He greeted me like we were old friends. "This is my favorite Saturday spot," he said with a grin. I awkwardly introduced him to the group, most of whom vaguely remembered him from the night before. No big deal. He hung around, we drank, and everyone seemed to vibe. A week later, Derek invited me golfing, just the two of us. I tried to rope some friends in, but they bailed. We played 9 holes, got food, and that was that. Chill. Then came the hiking invite. He said Arizona, the Grand Canyon. I checked with work, and the dates were clear. None of my crew could come. "Just us," he said. I didn't think much of it. I still hadn't met a single one of Derek's friends, but something about him felt familiar. We flew out on August 15th. He handled the car rental, picked up drinks and food, and got us to the Airbnb, a creaky A-frame in a secluded corner of Flagstaff. There was only one bed. He pointed to the pull-out couch and said, "Don't worry, man, I'm not charging you." The couch was fine. I passed out quickly, but sometime in the middle of the night, I woke up to footsteps. Derek was in the kitchen. Just grabbing water, I told myself. Still, something about the silence that followed was too loud. The next day we hiked Bright Angel Trail. It was hell on my lungs but stunning. Derek, somehow, never tired. We got photos, food, and later stumbled through another night of drinks in Phoenix. I blacked out halfway through. I vaguely remember him playing music, my phone plugged in by the couch. That night, I woke up around 3 a.m. to a strange creak, like someone stepping close. I went to the bathroom, heard a soft click from Derek's bedroom door. It was locked. He didn't respond when I knocked. The next morning, I found my phone, unplugged and moved. I chalked it up to the booze. That night, our final night, he insisted I take the bed. He said it was only fair. I agreed. I didn't lock the door. I should have. Around 4 a.m., I snapped awake. No sound. Just a feeling. My phone was gone. The cord dangled uselessly. As I searched, I leaned over the bed, and screamed. Derek was face down on the floor, inches from where I'd been sleeping. His eyes opened slowly. He looked at me, dazed. "I must have sleepwalked," he mumbled, then got up like it was nothing. I asked about my phone. He got on his knees, reached under the bed, and pulled it out instantly. "Here it is," he said, smiling too calmly. I stared at him. His eyes, they weren't the same. The warmth was gone. And for the first time, I wondered if I had ever really known who I came here with. I told him I'd take the couch again, anything to avoid another twisted midnight scene, but Dorian insisted he would. I didn't argue. I just waited until he left the room, then locked the door behind him. This time I didn't forget. After what I saw, his face, his blank expression as he pulled my phone from under the bed, I was done giving him the benefit of the doubt. I couldn't shake the feeling, he hadn't just found my phone. He had taken it. I wish that had been the end. It wasn't. At some point deep into the night, I woke again. There was no sound, no clear trigger, just that primal instinct that something was wrong. The room was too quiet. Then I saw it, a silhouette standing at the foot of the bed. It didn't move. My breath caught. I blinked, hoping my eyes were playing tricks on me. But they weren't. It was Dorian. He sat down slowly, deliberately, on the edge of the bed and reached for my foot. He began rubbing it. Calm. Familiar. Like we were lovers. I screamed. Not just from fear, but from violation. I kicked him hard, shouting for him to get out. He didn't respond. He just stared. I had to push him, shove him off the bed with everything I had. He stumbled, stood, and walked silently out of the room. I didn't sleep. I threw my things into my bag, one hand always glancing at the door. He just sat there on the couch, eyes on me, unblinking, like a mannequin. Like something waiting. I called a car to the airport before the sun was even up. He never tried to stop me. But his eyes followed me as I left. Cold. Empty. I didn't speak a word of it until I landed. Couldn't. My thoughts were spiraling too fast to catch. I paid extra to switch seats on the plane, I couldn't even risk sitting next to him. I kept my head turned to the window the entire time during boarding, praying he wouldn't try to talk to me. Later that day, I told my friends everything. Tyler said, "Told you he was off." He reminded me how Dorian had been alone both nights we ran into him. It clicked. He must have followed me to that outdoor bar. He'd watched my story. Knew where I was. Before blocking his number and Instagram, I did something else. I went through one of his older posts, the kind with all the friends he never introduced. No one was tagged, but I scanned the comments. Found one that seemed like it matched a guy in the picture. I messaged him. His response came within minutes, "Nah. That guy's a freak. Run away." The guy told me he and a few others had cut Dorian off after similar bizarre encounters, creepy, intrusive, manipulative stuff. He said Dorian still had a bunch of their photos up but none of them could get him to take them down. When I told him what happened in Arizona, he said, he should be in jail. I thought I'd be done with the whole thing. Until a few weeks later. It was a sticky July evening. I was back in Maryland for a short break from school. My friends, Jay and Marcus, had all agreed to spend a weekend at Ocean Hollow, a sleepy coastal town where Jay's family owned a small beach house. We drove down on a Friday. The salty air, the clang of arcade bells, the smell of fried dough and sunscreen, it was summer nostalgia wrapped in sunburn. We grilled burgers, drank, and reminisced. By midnight, we were buzzed and bored, so we did what every restless group of guys does, we headed for the beach. There's something haunting about the shoreline at night. It's peaceful and unnatural at once, like the sea is waiting for something to return to it. We brought a flashlight and hoodies, nothing more. We walked along the surf. Everything was quiet except for the hush of the waves and the distant hum of boardwalk lights. Then Jay suddenly stiffened. "Is someone walking over there?" he asked. We turned toward the shoreline. At first, it was just a shadow, like a trick of the eyes. But then it moved, slow, stiff steps, right where the water met the sand. Its arms hung at its sides. The posture was wrong. Mechanical. Its head bent slightly, as if studying the sand, or something beneath it. We told ourselves it was just someone out late like us. Maybe a drunk. Maybe a local. We joked. But the longer we watched, the more wrong it felt. They stopped. Dead still. Not 50 feet from us now. Jay whispered, "He's looking at you, man." I wanted to laugh it off, but Jay clicked the flashlight. Just for a second, before it flickered and died. But that second was enough. No shirt. Soaked jeans clinging to pale, grayish skin. His eyes, bulging. Not just wide, but impossibly open. The moment the light hit him, he moved, full sprint. No build-up. Just stillness to violence in a heartbeat. We ran. I don't remember what I screamed. I just remember sand in my shoes and the sound of Marcus yelling behind me. We didn't stop until we reached the street. Only then did we turn. But the beach was empty again. As if nothing had been there at all. We looked around, but he wasn't there. The beach was completely empty. No footprints behind us. Just the sound of waves rolling in and out like nothing had happened. We stood frozen, trying to process what we had just seen, or thought we'd seen. None of us spoke much on the walk back to the house. Something heavy hung in the air. When we got inside, we locked every door and window, shut every blind, and sat silently in the dim light until the sun began to rise. None of us could sleep. I kept expecting to hear a knock at the window, or to see that pale face staring in. But nothing came. The next morning, we tried brushing it off, calling it a crackhead, a prank, some homeless guy trying to scare us. But none of us really believed that. The way he moved. The way he just appeared. The lack of footprints. It all made no sense. We stayed one more night, but we didn't leave the house again. Not even for food. We left early the next morning, all of us quiet on the drive home. Nobody really wanted to talk about it. Weeks passed. We tried to move on. Then one night, I got a text from Jason. "Dude. I've been having this dream. Same one. Over and over. I wake up, and he's there, standing in my room. Soaking wet. Just, staring. He said the guy didn't move, didn't speak. Just stood there. Head tilted. Eyes locked on him. I didn't respond right away. Because I was having the same exact dream. Same pale figure. Same waterlogged body. Standing in the corner of my room. Silent. Still. Watching. Some nights, I'd wake up certain I'd heard the sound of wet footsteps in the hallway. But every time I got up to check, there was nothing there. Then last week, nearly a year later, I was scrolling through a local Ocean City Facebook group. Someone had posted a photo they took on the beach the night before. The caption read, "Anyone know who this creepy dude is? Saw him just standing by the water around 1 a.m. Totally freaked us out." I clicked the photo. It was grainy, dark, but I recognized him instantly. Same posture. Same pale, shirtless skin. Just standing at the shoreline, head lowered like he was staring into the sea. The comments were worse. Dozens of people said they'd seen him too. He just stands there for hours. I watched him walk into the water and never come back out. Found wet footprints on our back porch. No trail. Just, there. 2 streets from the beach. That was enough for me. I don't know who, or what, we saw that night. But I do know this. I'm never going back to that beach after dark.